Hi, everyone. Here I am, ready to listen to the first listen in this episode of The History of Rock Music with Amy and Carl. Now, this is the third episode. It's the second decade, really, that we've gotten into. It's the 60s. And the first piece I listened to was Twist and Shout by the Beatles, which was early 60s. And now this second piece is The Boxer by Simon and Garfunkel, and I understand that it's later in the decade. And I'm curious to see how the difference in sound develops over these few years between them and see what's happening stylistically. So let's go ahead and start and see what happens.
Just a poor boy, though my story is seldom told. I squandered my resistance for a pocket full of mumbles, such are promises.
That is very different.
All lies and jest, still a man hears what he wants to hear.
I have to think about this. This doesn't even sound like anything I've been listening to up until this point in this series. It's so smooth. And it might get more rocky later on in the piece. I don't know yet, but it has such a smooth opening, like it's just flowing towards the next thing coming. Of course, it's an acoustic guitar sound. It's voices, a cappella voices, but they're much gentler and more subtle, expressively subtle in their style. It's very nice. I already enjoyed that opening in a different way than the music that I've listened to so far in this series, because so far it has been mostly dance or simple styles, and now suddenly this one doesn't feel like that. It feels more ballad-like in a sense, at least from the opening that I heard. More like it's storytelling, more like it's taking us on a journey somewhere. Again, I don't know where it's going, but those are my first thoughts as I heard the opening notes and the voices entering. I'm going to start back at the beginning because I stopped it kind of early.
I am just a poor boy, though my story is seldom told. I squandered my resistance for a pocket full of mumbles, such are promises. All lies and jest, still a man hears what he wants to hear and disregards the rest.
All the different sounds coming in and flowing so liquidly.
When I left my home and my family, I was no more than a boy in the company
there's something
of strangers in the quiet of the railway station, running scared. Laying low, seeking out the poorer quarters where the ragged people.
Now I hear a little bit of a drum, but it's very small. It's more like a texture, a color.
La la la, la 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 la.
Very nice.
Asking only workmen's wages, I come looking for a job, but I get no offers. Just to come on from the wars on 7th Avenue.
I like those.
I do declare there were times when I was so lonesome I took some comfort there.
It's very much a storytelling song. very melodic. It's like everything is working together to create a unified sense of motion and texture. There's this little bit of percussion. And the guitar is just filling in a very rippling chordal accompaniment. And even when you have those big crashes,
stands a boxer and a fighter by his trade,
that bassy sound again.
Reminders of every glove that laid him down or cut him till he cried out in his anger and his shame, I am leaving, but the fighter still remains.
Right, so as you can tell, I'm enjoying all the subtlety and coloration and detail that is suddenly in this music here. It's completely different. I love the way it flows. It doesn't sound like somebody is just patching together different rhythms or different melodies, or like somebody is just trying to experiment with something. It sounds like they really had a vision and they sculpted it. It's very much, I would use the term sculpted, very, very nicely shaped and integrated and woven together. I started to say, and then I had to keep listening, I started to say that even when you get those big crash moments in the chorus, it doesn't sound like the drum is just crashing to make a lot of noise. It sounds like it's contributing to this whole carefully balanced, sculpted image and musical impression that we're getting. So different. And I like the balance of it. Nothing sticks out. Nothing is too angular or edgy. The guitar, the other instruments, the bassy sounding instrument, and I can't decide whether it's a brass or electric guitar. It's a very unique sound that I can't really quite identify instrument specific, but I'm just going to call it that bassy sound. And then again, there was the higher pitched instrument, which again, I'm trying to decide, is that a synthesized type sound? Is it electronically created or recorded, or is it a guitar, or it's almost flute or not quite clarinet? Very unique sounds, but it's all about the color and the way that it's being woven together. And I like that a lot. So let me just finish this. I'm getting close to the end, but I just had to stop and say all of that before I forgot it, because I don't know what's coming next.
In the clearing stands a boxer and a fighter by his trade, and he carries the reminders of every glove that laid him down or cut him till he cried out in his anger and his shame, I am leaving, but the fighter still remains. Lie, la, lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie. Lie, la, lie.
It's about a boxer, and I almost think that those big percussive crashes are maybe echoing the boxing ring punches being thrown. Perhaps strings now coming in. It's building. Extra voices. the pitch range is expanding. Instruments top to bottom. Of course, the layers are coming. Nice little bass there. Very nice. Well, as you can tell, I enjoyed the sound world of that piece of music. At the same time, I'm so curious to sit down with Carl and talk and hear from him about why he picked this piece and the Beatles from earlier in the decade, and why this one comes in after all the more casual styles. This is not a casual style, I would say. It is very much, to me, a story. I would call it a storytelling ballad is what I would call it. And I'm not sure even how much, okay, there's a little bit of percussion in there. There's a little bit of electric guitar. The voices, it doesn't really strike me as something that would be classified as rock music. But again, I know that rock is a very broad genre, and some of the songs I've listened to, even early on, I was listening to Love of My Life by Queen. And so maybe this is one of those that fits because it was done by a rock band, or maybe there are other reasons that it's classified as rock, or maybe it's just carrying us on our journey of hearing influences that played into the rock style. I don't know. I'm curious to see what Carl has to tell me about this. But I did enjoy that a lot. And there's a possibility that I might even decide to do an in-depth to this particular piece, because it is complex enough to make it worth diving into. So, yeah. It's a great song, and I will think about the in-depth and keep your eyes open for that, because I'm sure it will come. And the discussion that I will have with Carl is coming up this weekend, and I hope that you will join us and enjoy it with us, and let us know your thoughts and your feedback as well. I'll see you soon.